Hello everyone, today we're at the National Gallery of Victoria to explore both Aboriginal art with techniques that have been passed down thousands of generations as well as modern artworks and see how they connect with each other. We'll start in the Bark Salon, which is a room completely covered in bark paintings from floor to ceiling. There are over 160 works displayed all together encompassing the room. A bark painting is a traditional Aboriginal art practice that has been passed down for thousands of years, and it's used to tell stories and show connection to country. After, we will explore the Koori Heritage Walk with a guide to help us connect and learn Aboriginal culture. On the walk, we will go through many Aboriginal artworks such as eels, a meeting place with rocks engraved with animals representing different parts of Aboriginal culture, and much more. We will also look at Burndod Grounds by Alice Guinness. This is a contemporary artwork inspired by the Burndod initiation ceremony. It uses neon lights, dark plywood, and white dot patterns to mix traditional cultural ideas with modern materials. Overall, we'll be looking at how the gallery brings traditional and contemporary artworks together, and how both styles can share important cultural stories in different ways.
The Bark Salon is a unique and sacred experience. Unlike traditional art collections, which feature solitary artworks, the Bark Salon is a room filled from ceiling to floor with bark artwork. It blends traditional indigenous artworks with Western art layout and a modern building, blending cultures together. It contains over 160 bark paintings and references traditional European salons that were prominent in the 18th and 19th centuries, while simulating their style and vibe. It highlights the diversity, variety, and creativity of indigenous bark paintings. Indigenous people traditionally used short handled brushes made with human hair, and they used charcoal or rock dust mixed with egg yolks as their paint. And together, these tools made the first primitive bark paintings. To this day, they are still celebrated, created, and enjoyed, showcasing their longevity and inspiration.
The Koori Heritage Book was an interesting experience, helping us connect and learn about the Aboriginal cultures and traditions. The eels had a significant part in Aboriginal culture, being the ones that usually provided them food source. They were considered a stable food source for all year long. Next, we saw the arrangement of beautiful rocks that intrigued us. They clearly symbolized different animals, showing a variety of indigenous icons and traditions. They were mainly used in ceremonial ceremonies, in which the Aboriginals would conduct initiation ceremonies or other varied ceremonies. Overall, the Koori Heritage Book was set next to the calm Yarra River and a quiet environment and helped one connect with the natural indigenous environment that surrounded them.
Throughout her career, Alice Guinness's art has always depicted the Burndod. This sacred ceremony marks the initiation of boys into manhood, and is very important to the Yindjibarndi people. Alice Guinness's NGV fixture, made in 2025, is an artwork that shows a perfect blend where indigenous culture meets contemporary methods. The standout feature here is the neon, which symbolizes the enlightenment and vibrance of the Burndod circle, while adding modern expression. However, the framework for all of this lies in the black plywood. It embodies the sacred country on which the Burndod is performed. And finally, the white acrylic dots create vibrating patterns on the art, capturing the rhythm and movements in the Burndod ceremony. Now, throughout the whole artwork, there are two main principles at play. Firstly, the neon and acrylic dots contrast with the dark plywood, representing traditional versus contemporary. Secondly, the fixture uses organic form in all its circular shapes, forming a connection to nature and country. To summarize, this artwork displays the movements and feeling of the Burndod ceremony in a novel style, using contrast and organic form to emphasize key ideas.
Painted in 1990 by Aboriginal artists Ginger Riley Mundu Walla Walla, Nagok Nagok and the Four Archers is a piece of significant importance regarding Aboriginal art. This painting is the author's interpretation of an Aboriginal story created with an Aboriginal art style, sharing an old Aboriginal folktale with people of the modern world. Through this, the drawing acts as a means of connecting the Aboriginal art world to the modern art world. This painting uses Aboriginal techniques, but with a modern twist. It takes heavy inspiration from Aboriginal artistic practices through its use of warm colors and dot-style painting, but appeals to the modern eye for realism by its inclusions of blues and greens to represent the sky and sea. This intertwines indigenous and non-indigenous art culture, highlighting this painting's significance in bridging the gap between Aboriginal and modern art. Overall, this painting has been a symbol of positive change in Aboriginal art and shows how this ancient style of painting has adapted without completely ridding itself of its roots or distinguishing quality. This artwork should be a beacon of positivity for all cultures, as it shows how ancient techniques don't have to die out, but can instead adapt while staying mostly similar to appeal to modern society.
Can you give us details about what, please? So that art over there. Let's go down there. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, that's art in the corner. It is painted on bark. And that's really special because you can't paint on bark.
How did they paint on bark? Can you tell me?
Okay, so basically they got pigments and they crush the pigments and they put it on the bark. It's really cool because like it's bark and like I think that's amazing and it's a part of Aboriginal culture that we should really explore.